Hello history fans, welcome back to the Historical Baking Show. Today we are making some Anglo-Saxon spiced honey oat cakes. Now, most of what we know about the Anglo-Saxon period comes from either Bede or the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle. There's lots of information missing and chunks of history and no specific recipes, but we can still give it a go. Today I'm using the English Heritage recipe, but you can make your own because a lot of recipes, like the English Heritage one I'm sure, is based on traditions or recipes from other historical eras, because oat cakes, honey cakes, or sometimes called ash cakes, have always been made in some type of form and they're still made today. What you will need today is 250 grams of porridge oats, or Scottish porridge oats if you want to be specific, 125 grams of butter, melted, 50 grams of chopped apricots or dried apples, 4 large tablespoons of runny honey, and a teaspoon of cinnamon if you like that flavour. And in the name of full disclosure, they would have been in the Anglo-Saxon time baked either on a skillet or just directly put onto the hot ashes, hence the name ash cakes, but I'm just going to put them in the oven. What do oats taste like on their own? Oh, nothing. Nice on me. Got my bowl. So, history time. It's the year 410 AD and the Anglo-Saxon period of our history begins. Speaking of which, I think we need to be in the appropriate kitchen, don't you? Ta-da! Now we are in 410 AD and England is being invaded by the Vikings and Germany and Denmark and the Scottish, but there are 3 main tribes in the country. That's the Anglos, the Saxons and the Jutes. And they grew crops like barley, wheat and oats, and since sugar wasn't really discovered or invented then, discovered, I was right the first time, they would have used dried fruits and honey to sweeten their dishes to make desserts. And they did have other dessert options. They would have had a grill cake, which I believe is like a pancake, cream cheese and honey slices, or cheese curd pastries. I don't know why that sentence was such a struggle to get out, but there we go, we did it. So now that's your basic history of what we're basing this recipe on and where it sort of comes from, as much information as I could give you. But now we have the story that is arguably myth rather than history, but it's a nice story that lets me do this episode of the Historical Baking Show. And the story involves King Alfred the Great, King of Wessex, and some burnt oat cakes. Now we're in the year 878 and King Alfred is hiding in Wessex from the Viking invasion because his kingdom is the last standing against the invasion. It's the 6th of January, the 12th night or Epiphany, and Guthrum leads the Danish invasion to attack Alfred and his men then because they're least expecting it. And as the army attack, Alfred and some fellow Saxon followers escape and hide in the Somerset marshes. One day while they're hiding in the marshes, Alfred decides to go for a walk and he finds a house and knocks on the door to find that only the lady or the wife of the house is home. And she lets him in and says, "Oh, I just need to go off and do something. Can you watch these cakes that I'm cooking please?" and flip them over. But Alfred gets lost in thought and burns them. Folks, I've had a disaster. My honey's not runny. I'm gonna have to go and melt it. I will be back in a second. Oh my god. Crisis averted. We used our very Saxon microwave tool to make our honey runny again. Where was I? This story was written 100 years after Alfred dies, so likelihood is, you know, questionable, but it makes a nice story. Like we said, it lets me do this episode. And, you know, I think it's quite funny that King Alfred the Great, who started Britain's navy, gave Wessex its very first standing set army, and even started the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle that gives us the information that we know about the time period and tracked like a lot of things in the kingdom at the time. He also burnt the oat cakes, so it's quite fun. If there's a mix up, and then I don't think we ball it up, I think we just make it into little discs and put it in the oven for 10 to 12 minutes. I'll be back. So I'm going to take my rings off because we need to put them on the baking tray, but we'll bake them for 10 minutes and we'll come back. It looks like this, all mixed up. That was a rubbish scoop. There we go. This is what they look like, about to go in the oven as well. Ooh. There we go. Oh my god! Ta-da! Here we go. I can't really get them off the tray because they're just falling apart. but let's try one. I've got a spot on my lip, it's not random crud. So let's try some of the goop. I put too much in my mouth then, but that's really nice. I love the apricot and the cinnamon and all the flavours. It's nice and sweet. And I think if you put that in yogurt, you would have a really healthy breakfast. Definitely really healthy. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you all very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that jazz. Let me know what other eras you want to see bakes from next, or any other videos in general, and I will try to keep posting on here. But I know I say that every time and I never do, so thanks for sticking around. Hopefully I'll see you next week. Bye!